Okay, I just wanted to give a couple of, I just want to give a bit of an overview of my new RC boat that I threw together. Took me about, I don't know, maybe 3-4 hours to do. I had an idea for a boat. I had it in my head, and I wasn't real sure how to go about making that one. So I just Googled. I think I Googled RC fan boat, and I clicked on the tab for images, and a bunch of boats came up. And one of the boats that I saw was something similar to this, but the guy that built it, instead of having a motor and a prop, he had a 64 or 70 millimeter EDF mounted on his boat, and it really looked sharp. Now I don't have a spare EDF laying around, so I couldn't use that. What I did have though is I've got this. This is a 2500 kV motor. It actually come with the Hobby King Skyfun that I bought, and there have been a lot of people that said that the 2500 kV motor that comes with the Skyfun is kind of a crap motor. The bearings, there are a lot of people that just say it's a crap motor. So I took it off the Skyfun. I wasn't even going to chance it, and I threw it in my parts bin. Well, this was a perfect little test thing, and if I burn this motor up on this, that's fine. It's no big deal. It'll give me something to play with this boat with. So anyway, I've got a 2500 kV motor that's a 6x4 prop on here. I've got the stock. This is the speed controller, the 25 amp speed controller that came with the Skyfun. Because of the bigger motor I put on my Skyfun, I needed a 40 amp speed controller on it. So the 25 amp speed controller also went in my parts bin. So I got this on here, and let's see. Well, I guess we'll just kind of start with the boat. You see just the shape of the rear. The pontoons are just they're kind of square. I did ramp the nose. This is just a Dollar Tree foam board with a bit of hot glue to hold a lot of it together, and then I used a lot of clear packing tape at the joints and seams to try to waterproof it as best I could. These are 1/4 inch dowels. I still have that in there. Okay. These are 1/4 inch dowel rods that I ran through the hull into the pontoons. I didn't really measure where to put them. I just kind of where they looked, where these struts looked at on the picture. That's kind of where I put them on this boat. I mean, I didn't measure a whole lot. There are, you see here, there's a rib that goes across there. Goes from the side to the side. There's one right here, and one back here. And then wood. This is just 1/8 inch plywood that I put back here. It gave me something to mount the rudder to. I'll get to that in a second. You see how I made the pontoons. I was hoping that the boat would lift up out of the water a little bit more, and hopefully this would get out of the water a little bit more. But I think I mounted these a bit too high, so these sat. Well, these don't sit low enough to get this out of the water. I might make an adjustment or something on that. See if I can't get it to come out of the water a little more. So anyway, I cut out just a kind of a triangle cut off top. Give me something to mount the motor mount to. I did make my motor mount tall enough that I could put a 7-inch propeller on there. We're gonna run with the 6 for now and just see how it works out. I've just got an orange 6-channel air receiver in there. I've got this running off my DX8, 3-cell 2200 milliamp battery. Let's see, so that's the motor speed controller. For the servo, it's a 10-gram nylon gear servo with a bit of an extra long control horn on there to a quick connect. This is just one of my push rods for my planes. Instead of a plastic clevis, I've got a metal one on there. No particular reason. It was just because it was the first one I found. The rudder mechanism and everything, that was a little more harder. It was more work to do than I thought it would be. I went through like 3 different ideas, and this is the one I stuck with. I've got some scrap aluminum laying around, and I just cut off a chunk. I think that's just an inch wide, and then I drilled 4 holes here, and then I tapped them so that I could run my bolts through from the inside, and they thread very tightly into this piece of aluminum. Drilled a hole down through here so that the rudder can pivot in there and have some structure to it. This is actually a fly bar from a T-Rex 450 helicopter. This is a fly bar paddle from a T-Rex 450. I got the fly bar and I ran it up through there and just kind of guesstimated where it would meet the linkage, and then I cut it off. This is a servo horn that's connected to the fly bar. I just used some thin wire to wrap it around the fly bar to hold it in place. And then I put some marine heat shrink on that. The marine heat shrink, it's got like a glue or some kind of adhesive on the inside. So when I shrunk that down on there, that glued the control horn to the fly bar. So that's actually really solid right there. And then it's got the fly bar paddle. But I mean, that's really about it. I mean, as far as like an overview, the canopy is very plain Jane and boring. It's just a rectangle. Everything's square. I could have ramped that over. It's just I didn't do that because this is just a prototype, just to see how well it would work. What I would like to do ultimately is to build this same thing, but I want to use some light plywood and paint it and make it look pretty. That would obviously require a more powerful motor, and I'll research that later. But that's really about it. The motor wires, they run down here. They're hot glued down here, so they don't, well, I guess they did wiggle. But anyway, so I'll put some new glue on there. They just come down here, run through the cockpit wall up here to get to the ESC. But I guess that's really about it. Something I did notice in today's test run, and it was what I expected. When I make my turns, I kind of figured that the nose would drift. It didn't track real well in the turns. So what I'm gonna do is I've got some real thin plastic. I'm gonna cut a slot on the underside of the pontoon here, and I'm gonna glue those little pieces of plastic in here so that they hang down, I don't know, maybe half an inch, 3/4 of an inch on each of the pontoons, and that will definitely keep the boat keep the nose from drifting over, and it should make it turn real tight. So we'll see what happens. I'll get that done, and actually, what I might do is I might take another little strip of foam board and just put it down underneath here, underneath the pontoons, and maybe that'll help lift. Maybe that'll help lift the deck of the boat out of the water, so there's less drag, make it go a little faster. So we'll see what happens. But that's pretty much it. And as far as today's test run, I was real happy with it. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching, guys.